This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye 103.8.
The authority on the issues that matter.
Let's get some more insight on one of the top trends that we're looking at, which is working from home. Media in China say that the biggest ever experiment in working from home is underway in Asia because of the coronavirus. But what are the pros and cons of working from home or flexible working? Oliver Baxter is the manager of the Insight program at Herman Miller, which is an office furniture specialist. He's with us in the studio. Morning, Oliver.
Good morning, Rishi. Thank you for having me.
So, working from home, is it going to work?
Yeah, I think the data is clear. The evidence has been laid on the table, and it's apparent to everybody that working from home, flexible working really does boost performance and productivity around about 13%, depending on the literature.
So a 13% productivity spike from working from home.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that data.
Yeah, so 8% of that 13% is actually just reducing the commute time. So if you don't have to drive for half an hour or an hour to the office there and back every day, then you're clawing back a little bit of your day that you could be investing in maybe a little bit more of a nutritional meal for yourself, spending time with the kids, but of course also work as well. So that all helps people to feel a little bit more happy and autonomous really in their own daily lives. And autonomy is one of the basic fundamental human needs that drives all of us in workplace today. We've identified 6 at Herman Miller, and autonomy is really what we're talking about when we're in the context of flexible working.
So basic human needs, autonomy is one of the 6.
Yeah.
Just round up the list for us.
Okay. So security, status, achievement, purpose, belonging, and then, of course, autonomy.
And then autonomy.
Yeah.
Fine. So half of the productivity gains is just we're not commuting, and that's dead time and wasted time, and we get it back. What are the other half of the productivity gains?
So productivity is a difficult one because it's subjective for everybody. So the 13% statistic that I just kind of threw out there, that was looking at people who work in call centers as an example. Now, not every white collar profession has a call center element to their job, but I like to reframe it in the context of engagement rather than productivity. So engagement is a little bit less subjective, and it has been quantified the world over. 15% on average is the global engagement rates the world over at the moment. It's actually 14% in the Middle East and Africa. So we're actually suffering the lowest level of engagement than we have had in the last 50 years. And guess what? Gallup, the company whose statistics I just quoted, they've highlighted that 1 day a week working from home giving people the option, they don't have to take it, but giving them the option to work from home for 1 day a week is that sweet spot where you'll get a spike of around 35% in engagement from your employees. If you give them 2 days a week, then it starts to deteriorate. And actually, if they're working from home every day of the week, it's worse than asking everyone to come in for 5 days a week.
Okay, so it's not a yes or no. It's a scale, and 1 day a week, the option to work 1 day a week is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the limitations. You quote research from Skype and Vodafone that highlight the limits of working from home.
Yeah, so the Skype and Vodafone research was really interesting because obviously we're talking about what's happening in China. Something similar, well, not in terms of disease control, but during the London Olympics, because of the transportation and all the pressures on there, a lot of employers were forced to implement a 2-week flexible working strategy there as well. So actually with the Vodafone and Skype research, it demonstrated performance gains, but also one of the biggest issues is that 33% of those that did choose to work from home discovered that there was a fundamental flaw in the tools and technology that people were being provided with for their jobs. So things like cameras on their screens so that they couldn't connect with their peers visually. But one of the big things for me, and obviously I work in office furniture, is not like having a good chair to sit in. If you're just working from your laptop for 8 to 10 hours a day, sat on a sofa, you're going to have some musculoskeletal issues, right? So, you need a good chair at home. You need possibly even a standing sit-stand electric desk, a monitor arm so that the monitor's at the right height so that you're not getting any issues with your neck because that's quite a substantial weight. So, it all needs to be looked at holistically, how we support people working in offices and also from home as well, so that people can do their best work. That's ultimately what we're trying to do, right?
30 seconds. What's happening here in the Middle East in terms of flexible working? We haven't done a huge amount of research in this region yet, but what have you learned? What have you seen?
I mean, this is just anecdotally from my perspective. I think we could potentially be doing more. I'm obviously from the UK. In 2002, the government implemented a strategy highlighting that people in white-collar professions were allowed to request flexible working from their employer. And that's been going, like I said, since 2002. So for 18 years, I don't know of such a policy that's embedded in the laws here. So I would love to see something mimicking that.
Oh, a different question, 20 seconds. Are you seeing demand for different types of furniture here? For example, when people are fitting out offices, are they buying more flexible desks rather than individual workstations? Do you see that?
Yeah, there has been an increase in flexibility.